Welcome to our second episode of our SHTF series. Today we're going to talk about the useful gear we should choose for keeping us warm during those harsh nights in the city after an SHTF scenario. How to set up a fast and safe camp to make our nights smoother, and very important, where to go to look for an acceptable, safe place to sleep. Of course, we're going to talk about all of it related to cold season only, which is the harshest season in the year. I could start talking about the best and the warmest sleeping bag on earth made out by unicorn's hair, but this is not going to be the case. Sorry if I disappoint someone. We all have around us very important example on how to survive in the cold in our cities one day after another. And yes, I'm talking about homeless people. Homeless are able to survive multiple cold seasons, and I think there are some tricks that we can learn to become prepared during those emergency scenarios. Here's a list of things. Some of them could be found in the city, some others can be carried in our BOB, and few helpful tricks that will improve our stay during the night in the city. Let's start with the gear we can carry. Some of you asked me to find a kind of warm, portable, discreet, and rugged sleeping bag or sleeping system for a urban scenario. And honestly, to me, it doesn't really exist, because if we consider the warmest sleeping bag on earth, it's gonna be definitely not rugged and really, really expensive and also bulky. The warmer is the sleeping bag, the bulkier is going to be. Unfortunately, a sleeping bag that is compact like an Algin bottle that keep you warm at -10, -20 degrees Celsius, and it's enough rugged for a urban environment, doesn't exist, at least on this planet. We can pick something between what already exists that is quite portable, maybe not very light, definitely rugged, to create our own sleeping system for this specific survival scenario. Let's talk about of those pieces that will be very important to create our own shelter every time we decide to rest during an SHTF scenario in the urban environment. The first piece of gear I'm gonna talk is a wool blanket. And honestly, for these type of scenarios, there's nothing better than that. This is a single bed Italian military issues wool blanket. It's definitely not like a poncho liner or a wooby or a quilt, but it's way rugged than this technology and way cheaper, way easier to find, and we all have a wool blanket at home. And talking again about homeless, this is one of the most wanted piece of kit they look for. There's a reason for that. One of the best aspects about wool materials is fire retardant and water resistant. And I personally think that it's enough rugged to help you to sleep safely and last very long during your escape route out of the city. Of course, if I had to choose something different, in case I'm giving more priority to weight and portability, I will choose a quilt or a wooby, a poncho liner, because they will give me more freedom compared to a sleeping bag. I will never choose a sleeping bag for this kind of scenario. I will never to feel like a burrito in the city, you know what I mean? Even the quilt or the poncho liner can be used as a blanket, like the wool blanket, but it's gonna be way lighter, but I will never choose a sleeping bag. For instance, someone is approaching when you are sleeping in your improvised camp and you woke up in the middle of the night because you heard some noises and you got to wake up, stand up, gather everything you have and disappear from the room where you were sleeping in the abandoned building. In general, I will choose a poncho liner or a quilt. After you choose the main component of your sleeping system, whether it's a wool blanket or a quilt or a wooby, I suggest to carry a couple of drum liners. They are very sturdy. If you cut them along one side, they become big. They can protect you from the ground, for the moisture, for the dirt you can find in an abandoned place. You can keep your stuff as clean as possible. You can also make an improvised raincoat. You can seal windows if you're sleeping inside of an abandoned building and there's a broken window where the cold goes in. It's really multifunctional. It doesn't take much space. So don't forget to put a couple of these in your backpack. A more comfy and advanced choice will be to carry an emergency blanket and an inflatable sleeping mattress. Personally, in this precise case, I consider these two commodities. It will take more time to set up your improvised shelter, and I think time is something we don't have. If you're alone and you're carrying a quite big backpack, carry them if you want. I will personally wouldn't carry these in my bug out bag. I can use these to make a very comfortable mattress, maybe filling the drum liner with paper that I can find everywhere, piece of foam, and everything I can scavenge around the abandoned place. Don't forget the possum mentality. If I wanted to give more boost, more warmth to my improvised sleeping system, I will definitely carry some of these. These are body warmers. I wouldn't choose end warmers because end warmers are smaller. These are way bigger and they last longer. So you can use them for your hands as well as the other part of your body. This precise brand is called The Heat Company. They make gloves for photographers and video makers based on military gloves design. These are very warm. They last around 12 hours. Never leave them directly on your skin because they can burn your skin. They don't take much space for sure. Another piece of kit that I will carry to complete my improvised sleeping system will be a thermal blanket. We all have thermal blankets everywhere, I'm sure about that. I wouldn't keep it directly in contact with my body because of the condensation. I would personally wrap my entire sleeping system with it just to keep the body core temperature. Another trick that I'm sure everyone knows is to boil some water and keep it into a stainless steel bottle right before you are going to sleep, so you can keep the warm bottle against you while you're sleeping. It's a trick that definitely improves the quality of our rest. Last but not least, dogs. If you have a dog, it's gonna come with you. It's a huge plus during an emergency scenario. It's an amazing morale boost for the family or for just yourself if you are alone. We can sleep together, making our shelter warmer. It's also a great alarm in case someone is coming. Something that I didn't talk about, I'm doing it right now, not because it's not important, but it should be the first thing before we get out from our home, is our layering system. If you don't dress properly, you can have all these things, but it's not gonna work. I think in an emergency scenario like this, the 50% of our sleeping system is on us every time. Be sure you're wearing a proper boots, a proper merino wool first layers, a very warm jacket, and of course, a beanie. A merino wool beanie, it's another plus to your upcoming rest. After we choose our sleeping system, I'm wondering, what do you think will be a great find to improve our nights that we can often find in our cities? Please comment right now below. Let's share what you guys have in mind. I'm curious. As already said, the possum mentality is a great game changer during the SHTF. Here's where I should gather if I see them in the city according to the possum mentality. First, newspapers. Homeless use newspapers as a multitude of purposes in order to survive. We can use it for bedding. A good amount of newspaper can create a thick layer that acts as a mattress, or to keep the dirt off the urban environment from touching our gear and keep our stuff as clean as possible. Newspaper can also be used as additional insulation. We could stuff our jacket and clothing with them. And last but not least, we can use it as extra kindling if we want to light a fire, something that I personally don't recommend during an SHTF scenario. Another piece of material that we often see around in the city is bubble wrap. If you find a piece, take it. If it's enough long to cover your height, it's even better. The air trapped in these bubbles will make the ground more comfortable and will protect you from the moisture of the ground. I remember one of the classes that I attended some years ago. The instructor was explaining to us how the survival class should work. And we were in a parking lot nearby big trash cans. When he's done with the presentation, I remember he said, you guys have 15 seconds to scavenge those trash cans because part of the gear you carried for the class will remain in your trunk. So I remember that we started running and climbing up those trash cans. And I remember I found a piece of bubble wrap and I took it with me and it's been a blessing because all the rain, the cold, and that piece of wrap became one of the best things that I was able to scavenge for the class. If you find it, take it. Another piece of material that we often see, it's very cheap and you can find it everywhere. It's called thermoreflective panels. It's a laminated aluminum. It's a kind of economical solution to help to prevent heat loss in our home. It's very cheap, very light. If you find it, this is another great companion for our improvised shelters. It's also a great barrier against wind. Again, if you find it, take it. Another handy piece of material we can find in the city, it's cardboard. There's tons of cardboard everywhere in the city. We all have seen the homeless people using cardboard boxes for shelters, maybe in the city alleyways or under the bridges. Cardboard will protect us from exposure to the wind, definitely not rain, and on either side of the building or other structures. Cardboard boxes can be a great temporary shelter. Can also be used to insulate against cold or trap warmth. We could also use it to block light, sealing windows of our home when we are still inside, so we won't advertise our presence inside our home or in the abandoned building we are in. We could also use cardboard to compartmentalize a specific chosen room. It's easier to keep a small confined area warm than a large room. During an SHTF scenarios, cities will be the trickiest place to be. But I also have to consider that most of you live in the cities. If I live in the cities, I will stay in my home as long as I think it's safe. We have our entire life stored in our home. So I wouldn't leave it until I consider the scenario too dangerous to stay. It's very important that you know your area. You need to become familiar with the city layout and take time to explore as much as I can of your surrounding. I will personally make a list with all the hot spots where we shouldn't be in case of an SHTF scenario comes, and try to trace at least a couple of escape routes from the cities, adding waypoints along the escape routes where we can stop and rest if it's necessary. Personally, if I will be alone, I will try to escape the city without stopping anywhere until I'm out of the city, of course. But some of you have kids, we all have families, so we need to take in consideration the rhythm and the possibilities of everyone in the family. Have a pre-planned route is one of the most important things we can have. Honestly, during an SHTF scenario, I'm not sure if we will be able to use our car and drive out of the city. All the major streets, highways will be jammed, and my plan is based on getting out by foot. I lived in the cities for several years, and from what I've seen, the safest, less busiest, and most unnoticed escape route should be railroads. We have to consider that when SHTF comes, there won't be any train traffic, train station, electricity will be shut down. We will be free to walk along railroads to get out from the city. We all know that railroads goes into the city and get out from the city, and you have just to follow railroads. I think it's the best and less beaten escape routes during an SHTF. You will also have more time to stop and rest, and there won't be any traffic. Maybe you might meet another smart guy like you that took the same escape routes, and maybe we can help each other to get out even faster and safer. What do you think, guys? Here's the safe places that comes into my mind when we are escaping out from the city. Churches, cemeteries. I know that cemeteries can be considered blasphemy, but in case of emergency, if you keep your behavior respectful towards the dead, nothing will happen. It's just for emergency. We will never do it for fun. Right? Schools, libraries, train stations, abandoned industrial complexes, the bigger the better, or abandoned warehouses. Even barns can be helpful to spend a couple of hours and get some rest and then move on. The only thing that I never suggest is to breach into a private property, I mean someone else's home, because we are looking for a place for maybe a couple of hours of relax, and getting into someone else's home is not the best way to find rest and relax. You can do it in a big industrial complex. There's a very high chance that no one will catch you. Also because of the big emergency, eyes are looking in another direction, but don't do it in someone else's home, okay? If you choose to sleep inside an abandoned building, choose the room where to set your camp wisely. Choose a room with at least 2 escape routes. One easy to get into the room, maybe with a long corridor, and the other one, the second one, that it's easy to get out, but it's not very easy to get into from that escape route. You know what I mean? If you have energy, if you have time, set tripwire alarms. You can also use everything you can find inside the abandoned building, such as soda cans, bottles, broken glasses. You can put them under windows and door entrances, in the dark corridor. So if someone is getting into the building or is already into and is walking towards the room you're sleeping in, you will hear it. And you might have the chance to take everything with you and disappear from the second escape route. Of course, don't take it too easy. Our main goal is to get out from the situation, which means get out from the city. So that's it for today. I truly hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in another one. Be prepared.